Can you guess the weight of the Earth in kilograms? It starts with a 6. Think about it. Think it's 6,000? Think it's 6 million kilograms? How big do you think the Earth is? In fact, it's probably a lot bigger than you think. And even as a mathematician, I can't even pronounce, or I would have a hard time pronouncing this entire number. That's a big number. Million, trillion, I don't know, zillion. There's a lot of them. We'll probably Google it and find the answer. The point is, Earth weighs a lot of kilograms. Can you guess how far the Earth is from the moon? 380,000, 380 million? You think it's bigger than that? Oh, 380 million meters away. Again, a pretty big number. You can actually pronounce that one. That's a long distance. The light that we see is interesting. You can actually see some light colors better than others. So on this spectrum here, notice that the wavelength that is the thickest, is most visible to the human eye, would be red. You can easily see red. It's hardest to see purple. Can you guess how thick purple is? Well, it is 380 nanometers, which is actually 0.12345 meters. That's pretty small. You can barely see it. The point of these examples here is that we deal in life with big numbers and small numbers. So if you're thinking about this as a mathematician, we always have to think about, is there a better way to simplify? Is there a more efficient way to write these numbers out? Because honestly, if you write these numbers out, you waste a lot of your life. Well, today we're learning about scientific notation. Scientific notation is just an easy way, it's a shorthand way to write really big or really small numbers. This is to save time and save space. Save resources. So what is scientific notation? So scientific notation, we're going to write any number as a product between 1 and 10 and an integer power of 10. So for example, here I have 300 million, okay? I can write this as a number between 1 and 10, which is 3, and I can write it as a product between 3 and an integer power of 10. Well, that's 300 million, so that's 3 times 100 million. Now, 100 million as a power of 10 is 10 to the 8th. How did I know that? Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 zeros, 10 to the 8th. So this is written right now in scientific notation. What about if it's a really small number? Like this number right here. Well, again, and this might not be as intuitive, but I see this 333 in here. So what I can do is I can write this between 1 and 10, 3.33 times, and now this is a really small number. So in order to get really small numbers, you divide by big numbers. So times 1 over 1 billion. You could also write something like this. Because division is just multiplying by a fraction that is smaller than 1. All right? And so we know with our exponent rules that 1 billion has 9 zeros, so I can write that as 1 over 10 to the 9th. But this integer, it says an integer power of 10. Integers mean including negative numbers. So -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, integers mean they can be negative or positive. So our exponents of 10 can be negative or positive. So this is 1 over 10 to the 9th, but we don't want it as a fraction. We want it as on top of the fraction. In order to represent that in math, you use a negative exponent. This also is written in scientific notation. So just to be clear, scientific notation, any number can be written in scientific notation by two parts. A coefficient, which this coefficient right here we'll call A, that has to be between 1, including 1, or 10, but not including 10. And the second part is a power of 10, where the exponent n is an integer. An integer means a positive or a negative number. So again, this is scientific notation. The coefficient, which is between 1 and 10, times, always a product, a power of 10. Let's practice. Example 1, tell whether each number is written correctly in scientific notation. If it is incorrectly written, state the reason. Well, A says a horse chestnut, which I don't know what that is, but it has a diameter of 2 times 10 to the 0 centimeters. Is this in scientific notation? Well, this coefficient, is it between 1 and 10? Okay, it is. So that's good. Next, I want to check, is this written as a power of 10 and the exponent n is an integer? Well, it's definitely a power of 10, 10's the base, but is 0 an integer? Well, in fact, 0 is an integer. So integer again means negative numbers, 0 and positive numbers, whole numbers, okay? So this all means integers, all right? So yes, that is written in scientific notation, okay? Let's go to this next one. Let me make my pen a little bit smaller. B, Neptune is about 4.488 times 10 to the 9th kilometers from the sun. Is this written in scientific notation? Let's check the coefficient. The coefficient, is that between 1 and 10? It is. That number is between 1 and 10. Is it being multiplied by a power of 10? 10, yes, base is the base. 9 is the integer exponent. Good. So yes, this is also written in scientific notation. The approximate wavelength of an infrared light is 0.01 times 10 to the -5th. All right, let's check first our coefficient. Is our coefficient written between 1 and 10? No, it's not. So this is not written in scientific notation. So no, this is not written in scientific notation because the coefficient is not, right up here, is not, we can say this, 1 or in between 1 and 10. All right? Key word there is coefficient, and the coefficient has to be between 1 and 10. Let's go to D. A football field, excluding the end zones, is 10 times 10 to the 1 yards long. Well, this must be American football. Let's check the coefficient. I have 10 here. Is the coefficient between 1, including 1, and 10? Now, be careful here because there is no look, you see there's no equal sign underneath the less than sign there. So we can't include 10. That means that we can never have 10 as a coefficient. So again, this is not written in scientific notation. 10 is the coefficient and is not between 1 and 10, right? And if this were like this, then yes, it would be right, but it's not including 10. So there we have checked if these numbers have been written in scientific